The city of Kano hummed with life as dusk fell, the call to prayer echoing softly across its rooftops. In a modest home on the outskirts, Amina Bakari stood at a kitchen sink, washing the last of the day's dishes. From the living room, the sound of cartoons played as her children laughed, while her husband reviewed papers for work. To an outsider, it was a picture of contentment, a family at peace. At 35, her life seemed full on the surface. An adoring husband, Afis, two lively children, Zara and Khalid, and a stable job as an administrative assistant at Hillside General Hospital in Kano. But deep inside, a restless ache stirred each night as her family slept. As a young girl, Amina had wanted to become an epidemiologist, inspired by her late uncle, who worked tirelessly during the cholera outbreak that ravaged their village. But life had taken unexpected turns. Financial struggle forced her to drop out of school and take a job to support her family. Marriage and motherhood followed, leaving little room for personal ambitions. Still, the dream lingered. In her dreams, Amina saw herself as a young girl in a sunlit library, captivated by books about epidemics. But each time she reached for the book, it vanished, leaving her hands empty. She always woke with a hollow in her chest, haunted by the life she never pursued. One quiet evening at work, Amina overheard a conversation from a nearby conference room. Two epidemiologists were discussing disease outbreak over a map, their voices animated and serious. Words like intervention, spread, and community impact floated to her ears. Curiosity tugged at her, so she stood near the door, watching as they walked. It was then that Dr. Hassan, a senior epidemiologist, noticed her. Are you interested in what we are discussing? He asked, his gaze inquisitive but kind. Amina hesitated before admitting, I've always wanted to be an epidemiologist. Have you ever studied it? Dr. Hassan inquired. No, she confessed. Life just never gave me the chance. With a thoughtful look, Dr. Hassan handed her a notebook. This belonged to someone who believed in second chances. Maybe it will inspire you. That night, under the soft glow of a bedside lamp, Amina opened the notebook. It was filled with stories of struggle and triumph, of individuals who fought against time to follow their dreams. At the back, a single line stood out. Dreams deferred are not dreams lost. Wake them. Her heart pounded in her chest. For the first time in years, Amina felt the spark of a forgotten dream reignite. Determined to make a change, Amina began researching academic programs in public health. After hours of searching, she found a postgraduate diploma in public health offered at a local university. It was a starting point, a way to transition into the field of epidemiology without a prior degree. The postgraduate diploma was a perfect fit. But the hardest part of her journey lay at home, convincing her family. The next day, Amina sat with Hafiz after dinner. I want to go back to school, she began, her voice steady but nervous. He looked up, surprised. School? At 35? I have been thinking about it for a long time, she admitted. I want to study public health and work in disease prevention. I know it sounds crazy, but it doesn't sound crazy, he interrupted, placing his hands over hers. But how do you plan to manage work, the kids, and school? It's going to be a lot. I'll figure it out, Amina said, her determination shining through. But I need your support. He smiled. You've supported me through everything. Of course, I will support you. We'll make it work. With her husband's quiet encouragement, Amina felt a renewed sense of strength, but she knew that the road ahead would be challenging. One evening, as Amina sat at the kitchen table with her textbook spread before her, her mother, Mama, walked in and immediately noticed. What is this, Amina? Mama asked, flipping through the pages of a public health book. I have decided to go back to school, Amina replied calmly. Mama's face tightened with concern. At your age, you've got a family to care for, a husband to support. What will people say? I am not doing this for people, Mama. I am doing it to show Zara and Khalid that it is never too late to follow their dreams. Amina answered, her voice steady but firm. Mama scoffed. Dreams don't put food on the table. Amina clenched her fist but didn't back down. This is about more than just making a living, Mama. It is about feeling whole, about doing something that matters. With her husband's quiet but unwavering support, Amina enrolled in the postgraduate diploma program. The challenges were many. Her days began at 5 a.m. to prepare her children for school and ended past midnight, poring over textbooks. Exhaustion became a constant companion, but Amina refused to give up. Sitting in a classroom filled with younger students, Amina sometimes fell out of place. She struggled to grasp complex topics and doubted her ability to keep up. There were nights where she cried silently, overwhelmed by the pressure. As Amina focused on her studies, the criticism followed her everywhere. Her relative talked behind her back, their words full of judgment. Why is she going back to school at her age? Mariam, one of her cousins, whispered, loud enough for Amina to hear. She should be at home taking care of her kids, not chasing foolish dreams. Exactly, Aisha agreed. What does she think she's going to achieve? People like us don't reach such high places. Even if people in our community had something to say, women at the market would stop talking when she passed by with books in her hands. Is it that Amina, the one with two kids? She is wasting her time. She should be helping her husband, not acting like a student, another woman sneered. The harsh words cut into Amina's heart. Some days, when she felt weak, she thought about her daughter's words. Mama, one day I'll be just like you. Those words gave her strength. She wasn't just fighting for her future, she was fighting for her children, for every woman who dared to dream, no matter how impossible it seemed. After 2 years of relentless effort, Amina completed a diploma program with distinction. At the graduation ceremony, she stood on stage, her family cheering from the audience. As she held her certificate, she felt an overwhelming sense of pride, not just in the achievement, but in the journey itself. Amina didn't stop there. With her diploma, she applied for a master's program in public health, determined to specialize in epidemiology. While the road ahead remained daunting, she now carried the confidence of someone who had conquered immense challenges. During her studies, Amina was assigned a field study on malaria in a rural village. The heat of the sun beat down as she worked with local healthcare providers, interviewing families affected by the disease. Listening to their stories, Amina felt an even deeper connection to her purpose. This was what she had been meant to do, make a real life impact in the communities that needed it most. Her work did not go unnoticed. She impressed her professor and mentors, and as graduation day approached, the support from her husband and children grew stronger. Even Mama, despite her initial skepticism, began to soften. At 40, Amina graduated with honors. Standing in front of the crowd at the graduation ceremony, she looked out into the audience and saw her family, their faces glowing with pride. Her eyes found Mama first, who was now smiling, a silent acknowledgement of how far she had come. Not long after Amina graduated and started working as a field epidemiologist, trouble came to our community. A cholera outbreak spread quickly, leaving families worried and scared. Many people got sick, and there was no one to turn to for help. At first, Amina wasn't sure how the community would respond to her stepping forward. She had learned so much in school, but would they trust her? Some people still doubted her abilities. What can she do? One elder murmured. She's just a woman with a certificate. But Amina did not let those words stop her. She used her training to organize a team of local health workers and volunteers. They worked together to clean water sources, distribute safe drinking water, and teach families how to prevent the disease from spreading. She went door to door, explaining simple hygiene steps, and even stayed up late to care for the sick. Some people hesitated to follow her advice, but as they saw the outbreak slow down and fewer people getting sick, their doubts began to fade. The same people who had criticized her now spoke about her with respect. Neighbors who had once whispered about her choices now sought her advice. Relatives who had criticized her came to admire her strength and now see her as a hero. The community held a gathering to celebrate the end of the outbreak. During the meeting, an elder stood up and said, Amina, you did not just save lives, you saved our hope. We owe you more than we can say. The people all agreed in a loud chorus. Thank you, Amina. A butterfly fluttered past, and she smiled, remembering Dr. Arson's words. Dreams are like butterflies. They may flutter away, but with patience, they return. In the community, she became a symbol of resilience and purpose. Her story echoed across neighboring villages, inspiring women to chase their dreams despite the odds. Dreams may slumber, but they are never lost. The path to realizing them is not always clear, and it may take unexpected turns, but it is never too late to awaken the aspirations within you. Growth comes from pushing past fear, rejection, doubt, and embracing the courage to begin anew, no matter your age or circumstances. True strength is found not in the absence of struggle, but in the determination to rise again. You are never too old to reinvent yourself, to follow what sets your heart alight, and to challenge the voices that tell you otherwise. Each step forward, no matter how small, is a victory. Your dreams are valid, and your journey is uniquely yours. Keep going, because your story, no matter how delayed, can still unfold in the most beautiful ways.